my gosh, the evolution. Y'all, when we're moving so fast that we don't even see how much we've grown. We don't even see how much we've checked the boxes and leveled up and stepped into exactly who we've always wanted to be. Is this thing on? It definitely is. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Y'all, we are so back on the YouTube. Pardon my voice. I have been living life to the fullest, and so my voice is a little strained, but I had to get this video done. So we are here, and I first want to say, obviously it was needed to do the pivot from I am all that you are to the woman in the garden. It is the same purpose, the same vision, the same voice, same me, but we're now pivoting into using writing as a tool to transmute and transform our inner world and to translate that into arts and something that can help the outer world understand us and see us in our full becoming. So welcome, welcome, welcome to the woman in the garden. Welcome to the garden. I hope you're ready to bloom. So first things first, what I want to talk about today is just, I'm noticing that there's a lot of conversation around the theme of slowing down, right? Slowing down, getting rest, taking things with more ease. But I honestly want us to look at what that entails in a world that literally demands and sometimes makes us feel obligated to keep going, to feel like there is no room to put it down. And I think it's very ambiguous still to just to say to people, to say to the world, yes, we have to slow down, we have to slow down. Okay, but what does that look like? What does that need to feel like? Like for us, for people like me who have just been conditioned to keep going, 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 going. What does it even feel like in the body to slow down? That is a little bit of what I want to talk about today and explore with y'all is number one, what that looks like practically, tangibly, and what that feels like. And like, where do we start? Where do we start? When I think about, like, right now I'm in a season where I had no choice but to slow down, right? But to take a step back and put some things down that I had just been carrying for what felt like years. And then when we're going through, you know, one thing after another thing after another thing, we get into the pattern of just like, I'm gonna just suppress this or put this to the side until I have the time to actually deal with it, to sit with it. And then when you do get the opportunity to deal with it and sit with it, everything comes up at once. Everything comes back at once. And so I'm in that season right now where not only am I slowing down, not only am I taking a moment to identify what is taking up too much space. What am I spending too much time nurturing that is not myself? What am I spending too much attention, energy, effort pouring into that is not myself? And I don't think that we oftentimes look at that because, again, change, life, everything's happening so quickly. And so until we actually consciously take a moment to be like, you know what, I'm not going to do anything today. I'm not going to do anything right now. I'm not going to do anything but be. Yeah, and slowing down and identifying that, right now I actually don't have it to keep giving, to keep pouring, to keep sustaining anything other than myself. I think that is the act of slowing down. Recognizing that, to be honest, none of this can keep going without me. None of this can keep going if I am not okay. That is the slowing down. The slowing down is identifying none of this. Well, one, recognizing that none of this is more important than you. None of this is more important than what is needed for you to keep going, what is needed for you to continue to be well and sustainable. And it's hard. It's not easy. Like I said before, it's not easy to just feel like we are more important than the bills that need to get paid, the things that are needed for us to survive. Because it's like, okay, I'm doing this for me, right? I'm doing the job, the business, the family. I'm doing all of this for me, for us. But sometimes it's really hard to conceive exactly what that needs to look like, because there is so many needs that go unheard and unseen. I know for me, like, slowing down has really felt like wanting to be back in my body, like wanting to taste my food, wanting to actually listen to my music, wanting to actually watch my shows, read my books, drink my water, but not just in the very surface level way of doing these things, but being in it, being present with it. Something that I've set for myself right now is when I'm moving into a new activity, I give minimum minimum 5 minutes of my undivided attention. 5 minutes. So if I'm eating, I'm sitting down, creating a space, an atmosphere for me to enjoy my food, for me to savor and feel satisfied. And I'm doing that. I'm not getting up and going to, wash the dishes or clean the kitchen after I cooked, or I'm not immediately wanting to jump into a show, or, even rushing in consuming the food. I'm not just chowing it down. I'm savoring the moment of feeding my body and nourishing my body and taking a moment to actually reflect on how important and needed that is. I think that because we're so used to rushing through and past these things that, are needed, we don't actually sit with how significant they are in showing up for ourselves in the day to day. And so, like I said, taking minimum 5 minutes to be intentionally present with every single task, every single moment spent nourishing and pouring into the self, it restores that trust, that reminder, that ability to understand that I can show up for me first, that I matter first, that I am equally important as X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D. Like, and there's so many things that feel more important than us. But are they? Are they really? Are they really? Man, I didn't realize, how many things I was pushing to the back burner to do the business, to do the job, to do the relationships and be in community. I didn't realize how much of myself I was pushing to the back burner. Parts of myself that were waiting to be seen, that were waiting to be felt, that were waiting to be witnessed, that had evolved. Oh my gosh, the evolution. Y'all, when we're moving so fast that we don't even see how much we've grown. We don't even see how much we've checked the boxes and leveled up and stepped into exactly who we've always wanted to be. Imagine moving so quickly or putting so many things at the forefront that you don't even see that you are exactly who you're working to become. Like, take a moment to actually witness that, to witness yourself, to witness, you know, all that needs to be celebrated. And that is what slowing down really does. It allows you an opportunity to take a moment to see yourself and just the complete unfurling, the complete undoing and becoming of yourself again. So I honestly don't want to make this too much of an elaborate or abstract conversation. We're just getting back into it. And I'm wanting to plant the seed of what we can and will be exploring here, which is ultimately our becoming. Ultimately, the becoming of this version of ourselves or these versions of ourselves that, we may have been too afraid to step fully into, or we may have been moving too quickly to witness. But you're here. You've arrived. And before we move into this new year where we feel like we need to just quickly fix and correct and undo and redo, let's just take a moment to look at ourselves fully, to behold that we are still here, that we survived, that we're alive, that we've become, that we've bloomed, that we've died and been, reborn again into this amazing, amazing, beautiful version of ourselves that deserves to be loved, that deserves to be looked at, that deserves a really big hug and a thank you for getting us here. So thank you. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for joining me for this very first introduction into such an amazing journey and such a wonderful space that we'll be holding and creating together. And I actually want to also invite you to join me on Substack, where I'm continuing this conversation, this reflection with my garden letters and just the act of healing and transforming in community. So I will see y'all in the garden next time.